We're surrounded by this amazing technology that helps us out all the time, but we don't even see it. It's kind of like having an invisible helper working in the background to make our days just a little bit easier.
So let me ask you something. Just think about your day so far. From the moment you woke up this morning, how many times do you think you've used artificial intelligence? AI. Maybe once or twice? Or maybe you think, nope, not at all.
Well, the answer is probably way more than you think. The thing is, AI is pretty much everywhere. It's working quietly in the background, inside the phone in your pocket, in the apps you use every day, all the services you rely on. So let's get into it.
Yeah, there's actually a cool name for this whole idea. It's called ambient intelligence. And it's just a fancy way of saying that technology is all around us, in our environment, helping with our daily problems in a really natural way. The whole point is for it to be so smooth that it feels, well, invisible.
Okay, so where is this invisible AI hiding? Well, let's start with the most obvious place. The little device we carry with us everywhere we go. Our phone.
Now, before we go any further, I want to be super clear. We're not talking about those super smart robots you see in the movies. Not at all. All the AI we actually use today is something called weak AI, or sometimes narrow AI. And all that means is that it's designed to do just one specific thing, but it does that one thing incredibly well.
And I guarantee you've used it. When you ask Siri a question, yep, that's weak AI. When Netflix recommends a new show for you to watch, that's weak AI too. Even when you just type something into Google, every single one of these is an expert at doing its one specific job.
But let me give you an example that you might not have thought of. Your phone's camera. Seriously, every single time you take a photo, there's a really powerful AI working behind the scenes to make it look absolutely amazing, and you don't have to lift a finger. So how does that work? It's actually a team effort between the camera lens and the AI. When you tap the button to take a picture, the lens doesn't just take one photo. Nope, it takes a whole bunch of them, super fast, all with slightly different light levels. And then the AI jumps in. It looks at all those pictures and finds the absolute best parts of each one. The sharpest smile here, the brightest color there, and it stitches them all together into one fantastic final photo. It's like having a professional photo editor right in your phone.
All right, so that's your phone. But what about when you leave the house? Let's think about your commute to work or school. As you'll see, AI is right there with you, helping you get around.
You ever wonder how an app like Google Maps just knows there's bad traffic up ahead? Well, it's all about finding patterns in data, just like with the camera. Here's how it works. First, the system collects anonymous data about speed and location from tons of other phones on the road. Don't worry, all your personal info is removed. Then, the AI looks at all that data to find where cars are slowing down. Traffic jams. But here's the really smart part. It compares the current traffic with what traffic is usually like on that road on, say, a Tuesday at 5 p.m. Finally, after comparing all that, the AI predicts what's going to happen next and gives you the fastest route. Pretty clever, right?
So we've got AI helping with pictures and with driving. But it also gets a bit more personal. It can actually get to know you by learning the patterns of what you enjoy.
Think about it. When you finish a show on a service like Netflix, what happens? You almost never have to search for something new to watch, do you? That's because an AI is already on the case, figuring out the perfect next recommendation just for you.
And how does it know what you like? It's simple. It learns from what you do. Every single thing you do on the app is a little clue. So if you watch a movie, the AI learns, okay, they seem to like these kinds of stories. You give a show a thumbs up, it learns, got it, they liked that specific one. It even pays attention to when you watch, learning your Friday night habits. You rewatch a whole series, the AI thinks, wow, they really loved that. It's just looking for patterns in your behavior.
And here's something really important to understand. The system is not looking at your age or your gender to make these suggestions. It doesn't care about that stuff. All it cares about are your actions, what you watch, what you like, and what other people who watch the same things also seem to enjoy. It's all about your taste, not who you are.
Okay, so those are all examples from right now, today. But what about the future? Where is all of this invisible, pattern-finding AI taking us? Let's look ahead a little bit. Well, this leads to another big idea called pervasive computing. The idea is basically that someday, computers will be everywhere. Embedded into our clothes, our houses, the streets, everything. And they'll all be working together, totally invisible, just part of the background of our lives.
And one of the most wild ideas that comes from this is something called a life log. Just try to imagine this, a complete, perfect, digital record of your entire life. Everything you've ever said, every place you've ever been, every face you've ever seen, all recorded and stored forever.
Now that would be totally different from our own human memory, right? Our memories are, well, they're not perfect. We forget things, our feelings color how we remember events, and our stories can change over time. But a digital lifelog, it would have perfect recall. It would be pure facts, permanent. It would never, ever forget anything. But that brings up a really big question. Is a perfect memory actually a good thing? This quote here says, "To forget is as essential as to keep things in mind." And maybe that's true. Forgetting helps us move past our mistakes. It helps us forgive other people. It's part of how we grow. So what would it be like if we could never, ever forget?
So, as we wrap up, this whole idea of an invisible AI that's always learning about us leaves us with some really interesting things to think about. I want you to consider these questions. First, would you actually want a perfect digital memory of your entire life, a lifelog? Why or why not? Second, what do you think are the best things about having this invisible AI in our lives? And third, what could be the problems? What are the dangers we need to watch out for? It's definitely a lot to think about, and it really shows you how much this invisible tech is already shaping our world. Thanks for joining me.